Hey, you guys, what's going on? It's Monday.
Yep.
And it's a Haunting Mondays.
Yep.
And if you're in the United States, it's the eve of the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Which means I have the goddamn day off tomorrow.
Yeah, and they're out there fucking letting off fireworks.
Yeah, so obviously.
They're still doing
you
it.
hear
Yeah.
like a lot of, well, they started last night, actually.
Yeah. Pookie's like, what the fuck is this?
I'm hiding under the bed.
when 4th of July happens, you see our housing community has a private golf course on it that other people can pay and come in here and use it. I don't think it's free for us, is it? We got to pay for it.
Probably, yeah.
It's even got a little restaurant over there that we've never been in.
Yeah.
But it's in the middle of our neighborhood. Well, they got fireworks over there.
Yeah.
You can see them from my back window. Get up on the second floor and just watch the fireworks. You don't even have to go down there. Well, when they did that fireworks display last year, fucking Pookie fucking hid.
Yeah, she was not.
She was hiding, looking like, they're coming for me. They're not coming for you, Pookie.
Oh. I felt so bad.
Yeah, she was hiding from the fireworks.
She was terrified. Her eyes were like super red.
Yeah, you could see her from. I look, is you okay? And she was, you all right? She was scared.
Yeah, she did not like it.
Yeah.
Zach said 4th of July sidetrack show. I mean, we weren't planning on it, but
maybe.
I don't know. We'll see what we're doing. Because we might be doing some other stuff for our other project.
Yeah. Me and Jen did a photo shoot. That was on
Saturday.
It was on a Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, that was Saturday.
So we got done with that. And actually, it's Jen's best photo shoot. She looks gorgeous.
Well,
I don't think we posted any of them yet.
I posted 3 of them on Twitter.
Did you? Okay.
That's like the only 3 things I put on that Twitter
Okay.
account.
And then after that, we decided to do just a test stream.
Stream it, yeah.
To just see how it worked, see what the interface was like. So we had the fucking little stage type thing set up, and we were fucking drinking already, you know. And we didn't plan on work, or we didn't really plan on working or anything.
Yeah, we just wanted to see what it was like.
Man, people started flying in the door quick. First one flew in the door is fucking just like, will he use a pocket pussy? I was like, what? Nigga, can you come? And then Jenny got some, hey, beautiful, and then that fucking, but we were only on for like 15 minutes or so. Was it probably about 15 minutes, wasn't it?
Maybe a bit longer than that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just wanted to see how it worked.
Yeah, we were talking to some of them. But it turns out, why the fuck these dudes coming at me? It was like 2 or 3 different ones, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I fucking grabbed my tablet and I'm looking to see what guys were streaming, and dudes were dogs. And then I fucking looked to see what couples were streaming, and there was only like a couple. And it was Saturday night. So what it is all the gays started fucking looking for dudes in the couples sections.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But
so they were asking you for all kinds of stuff.
they were asking me for all kinds of shit.
No one paying though, so I was
they
just
weren't
like,
paying,
we're not going to do shit
pay.
for free.
And fucking what they were
You're not
asking
allowed
for
to
would have
anyway.
taken more time than they had money for.
Right.
They want that. They want you to get done with that shit in 5 minutes. Well, get the fuck out of here. Man. Fucking crazy. You know. Who do you think I am? I'm not that much of a stunt guy. He's just trying to get shit for free.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of the whole thing. They're trying to scam some people.
Well, he says, how long would it take? And I said, it'd probably be about a half hour. She wanted me to get on Jen and do this and fucking the real thing. And I'm like, look, man, we really only do something like that maybe during a gold show, and that would cost a lot of money. It was it's at $5.99 a minute, man. It'd cost you a lot. And he goes, how long would it take? And I'm like, has this dude ever been with a woman? Probably about 20 minutes, man. Fucking half hour probably. We'd put on a whole fucking show. And if you wanted that shit to be real, it takes time.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we would have done it if he paid, but
It would have paid, yeah, but that would be like $400 probably.
Probably.
Maybe
well, like I
500?
said, that would have been good.
Yeah, he didn't have that kind of money.
Like I said, I mean, we weren't planning on staying on long. We just went on there to see what it was like because we'd never done it before, and just kind of see how all the controls worked and everything like that. Because I mean, we'd been doing photo shoots all day and stuff like that. And we were super tired, so we just and we were kind of drunk, so we just kind of went on there to see what it was like and see if anybody came in. But we did get a lot of people come in.
Yeah.
But like I said, no one's going to pay. And the thing about StreamAid is that you're not really allowed to do anything super explicit in the public room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can show, like, boobs and stuff like that, but you can't, like...
No real below the waist shit.
No. Yeah, you can't show anything like that. So it's like, even some of the shit they were asking for, you can't do that, like, for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, on that platform, you'll get kicked off.
Well, no, that one guy said, well, we can go exclusive. I says, yeah, but that's going to take time, man.
Yeah.
I said, that's probably about 20, 30 minutes. Says, you might want to, you know, and we didn't really know what the pricing was for block. We didn't know the system yet.
Yeah, that's why we just went on there. We were just like fucking around.
You could have like a whole block of time that you can buy. You can buy a half hour for a certain, but we didn't have any of that set up.
Right.
Because we hadn't used that.
Because you get a discount if you buy a block.
Yeah.
Like if you buy 15 minutes, you get it for like 20% off.
You could buy an hour, and you can get quite a big discount if you buy an hour.
Yeah.
But just...
Although shit, who wants to watch us fuck around for an hour? I don't know, maybe somebody
No,
will.
they got people that are like that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. Because they want to interact, they want to talk and shit.
Right, that's true. Which, like I said, we could do that. We could do that. That's all we do on this fucking show.
Yeah.
Where we're like talking about...
Well, that dude also wanted, he said that that other one wanted to fucking, send us a $10 to fucking rate his member.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But he never sent the money.
That's, yeah. Because that is one thing that's on the list that you can put up there, that they can
Yeah.
send you a picture of their ween and you have to...
I don't know who he was trying to show, Jen or me. I don't know. The funny thing is that from other people in the business that I heard that do that fucking have that at option, the dude's going to send you a picture of some fucked up shit. And
probably, yeah.
He doesn't want you to compliment it. He wants you to fucking...
Well, that's what I figured.
How pitiful it is.
That's what I figured.
So it's usually
a humiliation
like a humiliation thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I figured. Yeah. Because why would a normal person, like, that was just into normal shit, like, why would they want to send you that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like
they want you to humiliate them.
Yeah, I think they want to be humiliated.
Weird.
Which, you know, I can do that.
Yeah.
But
that come off a hamster?
I have very mean.
Puberty never happened, huh?
Well, there's still time.
Yeah.
But we're such assholes. But yeah, so I'm not really an asshole. I'm kind of a nice person.
No, Jen's kind of mean.
Okay, but
it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're nice, then I'm really nice. But if you're an asshole, then I'm super mean. All right, so. We got distracted already. Yeah. Well, like I said,
we're letting people come in the door.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's really nice because I don't have to go to work tomorrow, which means that I can have a drink. I don't have to worry about getting up at 5 fucking a.m.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good, fun show here for fucking the haunting episode.
Yeah, and this one is because this house is kind of famous.
And I was kind of involved in this case on the side.
Wait, were you really? How did that happen?
That paranormal investigator I talked to him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That was a while back. Yeah.
I was gonna have him on the show.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him on the phone.
Because, man, so many paranormal... Even just in the context of this show, like this episode, how many fucking paranormal investigators, like, trooped through that house?
Yeah, that was the reason why I kind of cooled off on this case. I was like, there are too many paranormal investigators involved in this, and all of them kind of say something different. And then the first group that went in there was trying to cause trouble. And I was like... the chances are this fucking case is so contaminated you'll never really know exactly what happened. It might have really happened, but it also could be a hoax. You don't know.
I kind of feel like this house, maybe, I don't know how long it's had a reputation, but it's had a reputation for being haunted. I think, like, even before the people
was it
on this show bought it. Like, it's pretty famous, like, in that area.
Yeah, and them buying it, not knowing that it was a famous haunted house, I think it's unlikely.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
I've seen this house.
Nowadays, like, back in the day, like, before the internet, you could, especially if you were moving to another town and you were just like, oh, that's a cool house, and you bought it, and, like, nobody ever told you anything about it. But I feel like nowadays, you know, you're going to look it up on Zillow or you're going to look it up on the internet, like, in other places, and you're going to find out that it's famous for being super haunted.
I've seen the house, and I've seen photographs of the interiors and stuff. This was, I think that paranormal investigator guy, I forgot his name, he's mentioned in the case. What's the guy with the white hair?
Bill something.
Yeah. I think he sent me pictures of it online. If I remember correctly, he might have been the source. But I had seen pictures of it. It's a spooky looking house.
Yeah.
And the interior rooms were small and kind of like a warren-like and nonsensical. A lot of Victorian houses don't make any sense when you go inside the layout. It was not a modern layout. You got to walk through people's rooms to get to other rooms. There's a lot of that.
Well, you know what's weird too is that because I looked this house up, it has 10 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's because it was in the time of chamber pots.
Yeah.
It's because it's that far back.
Yeah.
Probably 1860s.
Like nowadays, they usually will give you at least as many bathrooms as there are bedrooms and maybe one extra. But yeah, back then they're like 10 bedrooms. You don't need that many bathrooms. Like you said, everybody had
bathrooms
chamber
may have been added later.
Yeah, they probably
because
were.
the house was probably not built with them at all. They were using chamber pots.
Now, we were wondering, because this episode came out in, 2013, 2014, something like that. And at the end of this episode, the couple at the center that had bought the house, like, still owned it. And I'm not sure. Now, the last time the house was sold, or actually, I think it's for sale now. It went on sale. It went on the market at the end of 2022. And it has been restored.
Okay.
Completely. I think they did a full restoration, as far as I'm aware, like in 2021.
Okay.
So
photos I saw, it looked rough.
So I think it's still for sale. It's I saw an article that said it was for sale for $329,000.
Damn, that's a good deal.
Which is
that's cheaper than this house.
Cheap as shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
the thing is, those
6,600 square feet.
The Victorian homes are money eaters. You just you can't heat them or cool them. It is in Massachusetts. You don't really need cooling that much. It's not like you're down south. But they're damn near impossible to heat. I mean, that one Michigan bad house that I was in, not Michigan, but Massachusetts bad house, me and my boy lived in it. It had an oil burning kind of like central heating system. It didn't work all that well. And it wouldn't get, you could keep it from not freezing inside, but there were places in that house that were chilly as shit. The wind would hit it, and you could feel the whole fucking house flex in the wind. You know, you could feel it made a lot of noise. It creaked a lot. And if you looked at it, it's just kind of good looking house, but it was a Victorian house. They're just not. They're old, and they're not made to modern standards.
Yeah, really the only reason you would want that is if you were into that aesthetic and had enough money to maintain it.
Yeah, but you'll never really have a nice, comfortable, modern, air-controlled climate inside there.
No. And especially if you want it to look like it did back in the day, which a lot of people do because that's why they buy them. They're not going to like modernize it out because it would look all fucked up.
Yeah, there's no place to put ducts or anything like that for your air conditioning.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And a lot of times electricity was added a lot later, so all the electrical conduits on the outside of the walls in metal conduit, there's a lot of that. They're just not real comfortable or practical compared to, say, like a modern home.
I mean, the thing about it, it's like, I love the look of them.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if I had the money, I would rather build something that looked like that.
Yeah.
But had all the modern conveniences. Because,
a fake one.
Right, like a fake Victorian house.
Like the one at like the Haunted Mansion at fucking
Right,
Disney.
That's what I mean.
It's not there. It's like, it's actually like a fucking facade. It's just an empty building.
Because I would love a house that looked like that. Yeah. But I don't want like all of the...
No.
Like all the late Victorian shit that goes along with it.
You can't get up in the middle of the night and go to the other side of the house and not wake up your girlfriend or your wife or anything. You could hear somebody walk through that whole house. Because those wooden floors.
Yeah.
And just, it was echoey and things fucking creaked. And you hear footsteps all over the place. There's no such thing as being quiet in those houses.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be waking
Doesn't even matter how big they are. They're just kind of echoey. And what's weird is that they'll have a lot of rooms, and the rooms are small by today's standards. You go like, is this a bedroom? What is this? What kind of room is this? It's bigger than a closet. It's a little smaller than a bedroom. What is this room? What was this room used for? Yeah. And people go, I don't know. It's a room.
You know. Just a room. We didn't think about it too much.
Some kind of parlor you sat in. Might have been a little kid's room at some time. You don't know.
They just sat in it. Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, that's all they were. The Victorians. They sit. They didn't have no TV or nothing like that. They just go and sit in this room. I go sit in that room.
They sit in that room. They sit in the other room. They sit and they talk.
Well, I mean, I sit in rooms.
And they have friends over and talking. That was their version of Twitter. Having your friends over talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I know people still do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, this house is kind of famous. It's actually known as the Sylvester K. Pierce House or the S.K. Pierce House. And it was finished in 1875. So on the episode, this took place in summer of 2008, they said, and this is in Gardner, Massachusetts, which is. Did they say it was the furniture capital of the world? I find that hard to believe. But, well, I guess it's known for furniture manufacturing, particularly, like, chair manufacturing, like making wooden chairs and stuff like that. That was kind of what the big industry was in the town. So the couple that we have at the center of this in 2008, they were from Boston, and they had been looking around for a house to buy, like, in this smaller town. The guy's name is Edwin Gonzalez, and his girlfriend's name is Lillian Otero. Now, Lillian had always wanted a Victorian house, so when they saw this one, she was just completely, she's like, yeah, we got to have this. And it wasn't, I think they said in 2008 when they bought it, it was less than $200,000. I don't know what the condition of it was, because on the show, obviously, it looked all beautiful and everything. He didn't mention anything about it needing a lot of work or anything like that. He did say that it was like really beautiful when they bought it and everything like that. But like I said, I think they've restored it in 2021, like back to its former glory or whatever. So, and I think that whoever owns it now or whoever owned it recently, they host it as like they let people stay overnight, like, and look for ghosts and shit like that. So they have it kind of like as a, I don't know if it's a bed and breakfast, but they kind of like let people stay there.
Well, during my little preliminary investigation of this and trying to get a guest on, it turns out that after this episode, came out, they were still trying to do things like ghost tours.
Yeah.
To save the mansion. Now they evidently rebuilt it. I don't know if probably wasn't them. Probably somebody else did that with a loan, trying to save that house. I don't think ghost tours would pay enough to save a house like that.
Probably not.
No.
Well, and this house was on like a bunch of other paranormal shows too. I think it was on like My Ghost Story and was it on Paranormal Witness? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Might have been on Paranormal Witness as well, but it was on more than this one. You know what I mean?
That might have been a wise investment. You had that thing on the fucking all these damn ghost channels. It didn't cost much though, but then you raise the money to fix it, then you sell it to somebody who wanted a haunted house.
Yeah, and this house, like I said, even though now I don't know if it's still for sale, but it went on sale like late last year, and it's on the what do you call it, on the National Register of Historic Places or whatever. They just put it on there last year. So like I said, it's kind of, and they had like famous people stayed there, like Norman Rockwell stayed there. I think he might have done a painting with this house in it also. Calvin Coolidge, like people like that. So like famous people stayed there, you know what I mean? And like a lot of movie stars, or not movie stars, but stage actors and stuff like that were famous. Like they stayed there back in the day. Because I think for a while it was a
boarding house.
Like a boarding house or an inn or something like that. Because it was originally built as a family home, obviously, for Sylvester K. Pierce and his family. Like he had a like a manufacturing, like a chair manufacturing factory, like right across the street that he owned. So yeah. So they see this house. Lillian is like, yeah, we got to have this, because she had really wanted a Victorian mansion. So they go in there, and she is just like all about it. So she's taken pictures like all around the house because she's super excited. But then kind of the first sort of tiny little mysterious thing that happened was that she's taking pictures around the house, and the camera suddenly stops working. Now, she said the dead battery light came on even though she had just put new batteries in it. You know what I mean? Which, that's a little bit weird, but it's not that weird. But that was kind of like the first thing that happened.
What's up, Black Frog?
What's up? Been a while since I caught one of these. Yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah, Zach was... Zach says, the house I was living in with my old roommate was listed as 3 bedrooms, but it only had 2. I think they were voting the open air loft over the living room as 1. Isn't that false advertising? Mm. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's all kind of like little ways they get around shit, you know what I mean? Because I lived in a house in Daytona that was technically 2 bedrooms, but somebody had built out in the back, like behind the kitchen. I guess it used to be the screened-in porch, but they had built it out into a room. So they were considering that a bedroom too, which I guess it could have been, even though it was like double doors, like right into the kitchen, which was like kind of weird for a bedroom. But I guess you could make it a bedroom if you wanted. We actually used it for an office, but which seemed like a better use of it. But yeah. And then Zach said, "Oh wow, they listed it for $329K. That's not a lot, is it?
No.
Not for a house this size."
No.
I looked it up, and it's 6,661 square feet.
This house is now at 500.
Yeah.
It went up.
Yeah.
So kind of made money on it, even though we don't own it yet.
Yeah. But yeah, so this house is not this house, but the one in the episode. Like I said, 10 bedrooms, 2.5 baths.
Just it goes to show you how people don't really want to live in Victorians.
Yeah, I mean, well, they probably would if they weren't such money.
They're
pits,
money eaters,
right?
Yeah.
Like I said, if I could have a house that looked like that but was otherwise modern, like that had all the modern shit in it, yeah, I would totally snap that up because I love that aesthetic. I love that look.
Heating and cooling just costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it would just
they
be
weren't built for that.
Too expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the camera dies out like with the dead battery light, and she's like, "Huh, that's weird, whatever." And he's like, "Well, we're gonna buy the house, so don't worry about it. You can have plenty of pictures later on." Now, Edwin said though that when they were looking around the house, like prior to buying it, he said he just had really weird vibes about the place. He's like, he would go through some of the rooms, like some of the rooms were fine, and he felt totally fine. But then he would go in like one particular room or like another room, and he'd like have a really bad feeling, like he'd feel like really nauseated. And shit like that. So he's like, and then like the second he stepped out of the room, like he would feel totally fine again. So he thought that was a little weird, but he's like, I didn't like it, but Lillian was like so excited about this house and I wanted her to have it. So they went ahead and bought it. And so yeah, another weird thing that happened is I guess they had a neighbor or like a friend of theirs that lived next door. And this guy is apparently like jogging past their house. And he sees a little boy in the upstairs window. Like, he kind of saw the kid... He kind of explained it as... He saw the kid, like, going from one window to the other. And then, all of a sudden, he'd be, like... There were 2 windows on this other side of the house, too. And he'd see the kid, like, running back and forth between the windows. But then, like, he'd be over here on this side of the house. And, like, Edwin is like, well, that can't happen. Because there's, like, walls and...
Yeah, rooms aren't
halls
connected.
And stuff. Those 2 rooms aren't connected. So you wouldn't be able to, like, get... there even if that was like a real kid. But it's like, so he goes down, like the guy's like jogging past, he's like, what the fuck? And then he asks Edwin, he's like, I didn't think you guys had any kids. And he's like, we don't. And he's like, well, who's that little boy like up in the window all the time? He's like, beats me, I don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah, so apparently more than one person, I think, saw a little kid up in the window. And that's like a pretty common thing that had been reported too by other people, like the people just walking past. So apparently the first few weeks after they moved in kind of went by sort of quietly. But then they're sleeping one night and the sheets kind of get pulled off them like that. Now, I'm not really sure how, because they showed in the reenactment that they didn't wake up when this happened. It's like the sheets like starts pulling off them like that. What woke them up was the door slamming. The bedroom door slammed by itself. And of course they thought somebody was in the house because that's what you would think. So Edwin gets up and like freaking out and he like goes out there, but there's like nobody out in the hallway. There's nobody in the house. So the door just kind of slammed by itself. And then apparently later on that same night, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, even though on the reenactment it was like bright daylight outside. I'm like, in what universe is it bright daylight at 5 a.m.? Like, especially in Massachusetts. So 5 a.m. the doorbell rings. And they're like, who the fuck is that? Like at 5 o'clock in the morning, they're like, oh, well, maybe it was some contractor. They're like, not at 5 fucking o'clock in the morning. That'd be rude. And then there's like pounding on the door. Like somebody's pounding and pounding, pounding. And he's like, what the fuck? So like he goes down there and opens the door. And again, nobody there. So doorbell ringing and pounding on the door. We had that happen. Not pounding, but we had the doorbell ring.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
At our place.
It was like 4:30.
Yeah, you said it rang twice.
Yeah.
I was slept through it. You woke me up. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was freaking out. A few nights after that, Edwin is in the home office and straight up sees an apparition of a dude. I don't know if it was like a full body apparition. Like the way they showed it in the thing, it seemed like kind of part of his face and maybe like part of his torso or whatever. So at this point, this kind of freaks him out, as it would. So he calls the previous owner to ask about, hey, did you guys experience anything weird in this house and shit like that? And the guy said, "Oh, didn't anybody tell you?" Which is always something that, like, whenever this happens in, in these episodes, and then you call, like, the previous owner, "Didn't anyone tell you?" They always say that. So the guy talked about the history of the house. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, a dude burned to death in the master bedroom, like, years ago." You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then somebody pointed him to a book called Haunted Massachusetts, which was written by a guy named Thomas Agostino, I think they said was his last name. And he goes to the library or the bookstore or whatever and, like, looks in this book, and his house is in it. And he's like, "Oh, shit, well, that's probably not good." So, like I said, they talked a little bit about the history of Sylvester K. Pierce. He had the house built for his family back in 1875. And his wife died in the house, apparently, like, only less than a year after moving in. And then eventually, like, the sons took over. And then it became a boarding house. Now, the guy that burned to death, the story about it was he was a tenant when the place was a boarding house. And I guess he was 48 years old. They said what his name was. It was Eno something, but I couldn't remember what his last name was. And yeah, they just found him. The house didn't burn down or nothing like that. So the legend started going around that he had died from, like, spontaneous combustion. You know what I mean? Because he just, like, burned to death in the room. And I don't know if nothing else in the place was burned or if it wasn't that damaged or something like that. But there was a legend circulating that he had died of spontaneous combustion. Even though I don't believe that. He probably just fell asleep with a cigarette in his hand and burned up on the bed.
Spontaneous combustion's been debunked many times.
It has, yeah.
I saw a reenactment of it. When you see the fire, you go, "Oh, of course." If you take a carpet, anything that can allow airflow underneath the body, and you can take a pig and put it on the carpet, and especially if you have a blanket or a little bit of clothes on the pig, and then just take a match or a lighter and just catch the clothes on fire, or maybe even just the carpet, that flame will get up against the flesh and it'll just start to burn. The whole body will slowly over time. It burns like the way a candle burns. You know, the flames don't get any higher than 4 or 5 inches. And it doesn't burn down the rest of the house or anything. The flames never get big.
Yeah.
And it just kind of starts in that one spot and slowly spreads across the body in a ring and then goes down. Then when it gets to the hands and the feet, it goes out. There's not enough fat there to fuel it.
Right.
It happens with fat people, or people that have fat in it is more likely. Because the fat is getting up on the damn clothing or the carpet or the bed sheets or whatever. The melted fat's getting in there and then it's burning on the damn clothes like a wick.
Yeah.
A wick on a candle or a wick on a damn lamp. Like an oil lamp.
Yeah.
And it'll turn the bone to ash and everything. It'll shrink skulls. It'll fucking look bizarre. It'll look like it was a real high temperature fire, but it wasn't. It was a very low temperature, slow burning fire. Like a crock pot. Worse. Bet you know how a crock pot cook meat real soft.
Yeah. That's what'll happen to you.
Yeah. And it's always somebody dying of a heart attack while they're smoking.
Yeah,
much.
while they're laying in bed.
Or they're drunk. They're drunk and they fucking die while they're drunk. Or they're fucking just pass out drunk. And then the fire and the smoke inhalation kills them.
Yeah.
You would think that the fire would wake them up. But they tend to be overweight. They tend to be alcoholics. I don't know if they burn to death alive. I would think no. I think they just happen to have a heart attack while they're smoking.
I mean, especially if the fire burned that slowly, you'd think that you'd be like, even as drunk as you were, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on?
Well, you would think that, but people have gotten so drunk they passed out in the bathtub and drowned.
That's true.
Like that girl from Cranberries, that cute little Irish girl.
Yeah.
Them Irish people, man, y'all need to keep it under control. We got Irish DNA too, man. We're not that bad. We're drinking in the bathtub, fucking drowning, and say, "Oh, fuck it."
I mean, I'm not.
Oh, fuck it, I'm drowning. Yeah, sorry.
I'm
drown later. I'm too tired.
I'm not gonna take a bath when I've been drinking. That's one thing. Because I'm kind of paranoid about that kind of shit. Zach says Eno Sorry was his name. Thank you. Yeah, I knew they said what his name was, but I couldn't. I wrote down his first name, but not his last name because I didn't hear it. A Finnish immigrant, apparently. Yeah, so he burned to death in this house, and I guess that is documented.
Yeah,
like I don't think he spontaneously combusted, but he did
but
burn to death.
Having seen Poltergeist personally, I was really fascinated with spontaneous combustion because I thought maybe it might have been a link. I thought it might have had something to do with pyrokinesis, which is it's like our SPK. It's like telekinesis, but instead of moving a large object, you're moving real small objects, molecules, to create fire. I thought it might have been something like that. Maybe a person burned themselves up using pyrokinesis, but it doesn't match. They're all usually older people who are overweight. They smoke and they drink, and they're in bad shape. That's who spontaneously combusts. Low energy people. Okay, it's because they die while they're smoking and they just burn up.
Yeah, like you said, it smells like a crock pot.
Now there was a young person that did that. They tried to crack that case. Dude had broke into her house and evidently raped and killed her. And she was found with the same signs of spontaneous combustion. She looked like a spontaneous. They first thought it was fucking spontaneous combustion. It wasn't. It was murder and rape. What he had done is he went into the bathroom and grabbed some perfume and threw it on her because they found a bottle of perfume there, and set her on fire with some perfume and left. She was already dead.
Yeah.
And the flames just burned like I described. They only got like 5 inches high, and they burned her over a long period of time. But the guy who went to prison that they caught said, no, I just threw... When they said, what happened? He says, I just threw perfume on her and set her on fire. She was already dead.
That happens a lot, like especially like when a dude breaks into somebody's house and like rapes and kills somebody, and then they try to set the body on fire. Like,
he's trying to hide evidence.
Right, that happens a lot.
Yeah, it didn't. They caught him anyway.
Yeah,
but paranormal investigators were fucking really interested in that fire, and they just through his testimony they realized that it wasn't spontaneous combustion.
Right. Ben says perfume is flammable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Got a lot of alcohol in it.
Yeah.
And oil.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the brightest candle, all right? He just went and threw some cleaning or some kind of product, whatever product he could get on there, and set it on fire. And it just burned a little bit. Like it burned the flame would be about as high as the flame on a lighter. And it just turned her into a damn candle.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, they've done reenactments with pig carcasses and stuff like that.
As soon as you see it,
as soon as you see it, it like becomes really obvious.
You go,
it's not weird.
It's not weird. Because you've seen that kind of fire before.
Right.
It's like a smoldering campfire.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except a person, which is horrifying. But yeah, that's how it happens. So yeah. So they're like, well, that was at least one person. They know. I think I was reading an article that said that there are actually 7 confirmed deaths in this house, but that was kind of the most splashy one, I guess. The guy that burned to death. So at one point, Lillian is home by herself, and the door opens by itself. That seemed to happen a lot, and then they didn't do like a real good job of like doing a reenactment of this, or maybe it's just because I'm deaf and I didn't hear what was going on, because I'm like, she seemed like she was looking up over this the highboy or whatever kind of thing they had up there, like that had all the dishes and shit in it, and she's like looking up there. I'm like, what is she looking at? Like, I don't see anything up there. But like when they were talking about it later, because she wasn't the real person, she wasn't actually on the show, they explained at the end, like Edwin was, but he explained at the end that it's like she's still scared of that shit and she didn't really want to talk about it. So he was kind of like talking about like what she had told him, because she didn't want to be on the show. But they explained that actually she had heard something growling at her from up there. So I don't know if she actually saw anything, because they didn't really show anything up there. I didn't see anything anyway. But then they explained later that she had heard something growling up there, or she felt like something was up there. So she tells Edwin about it because it's freaking her out. And he's like, okay, well, we really need to like get some help in here and get somebody in here to see what's going on. So he goes and contacts the guy that wrote the book, like Haunted Massachusetts. And so Thomas is like, he's Thomas Agostino or whatever his name is. And he's like, okay, well, I'll come out and do like an investigation on the house. So he comes with his wife, Arlene, who of course is a medium. So they do tarot and EVPs and all that kind of stuff. Now, they have all these cameras and shit like set up all around the house. And in the reenactment, they showed like a shadow figure like going across the camera like whoosh, like that. Like nobody said they saw that, but they just showed that on the reenactment. But they said that the camera on the tripod that was in the master bedroom, like it looked like somebody had kicked it over. You know what I mean? Like they heard a noise and they ran in there. But that could have just fallen over. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So they did like a cleansing with the sage and banishing the negativity and all that. And then he tells Edwin and Lillian, he's like, you have to do that every night and everything should be golden. A few nights after that, they start hearing footsteps around the house. Then the door starts kind of opening and slamming and stuff like that. So they're both awake and they're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then I thought this was kind of interesting. They heard something glass breaking in the kitchen. Like it sounded like a crystal bowl or something like that, like falling on the floor. And they're like, what the fuck is going on? And then they said they kept hearing glass breaking. Like somebody was just going through and like throwing all of their glassware like on the floor. Like it sounded like that. And it just kept happening, and they're just like, what the fuck? So then they go down there to the kitchen, but when they go in the kitchen, nothing is wrong. Like, nothing is broken or nothing. They're like, we just heard the noise, like, over and over, like, really distinctly, like glass breaking over and over. Now, this is the part, I thought this was kind of funny. So this was the dude you were talking about. His name's Bill. I can't remember.
Bill, yeah. What's his last name?
I don't remember. I thought I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I tried it, like I said, I'm trying to write fast.
He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice dude. Because the real guy was interviewed on the show as well.
I didn't reject the case. Didn't have him on because of him. I didn't have it on because at the time it would be a case that I could actually have on now. But at that time, we were looking for like some of the best type poltergeist cases that had like evidence and shit. And best ghost type cases that had a lot of impartial witnesses. This one doesn't have a lot of impartial witnesses. Like the cops don't show up and go, yeah, we saw some shit. You know, that doesn't exist in this. That's what I was looking for at the time.
But yeah, apparently this Bill dude showed up just like randomly. I'm like, that's a he call. But yeah, so he just shows up on the doorstep like, hi, I'm Bill. I am a spiritual empath, and he was apparently friends with the previous owner, and he had been over to the house a bunch of times.
Yeah. And he was, based on memory, this was his favorite house. This was his favorite haunted house. He got the most action out of this house. So he was constantly keeping an eye on it, wanted to know who bought it. So it's not strange when he shows up. He was waiting to see who's going to buy it. Yeah. Because he wanted to get back in there. I believed him.
Like I said, he seemed like a nice man. They actually had the real guy on there.
Yeah. His methods, though, kind of like airy-fairy elves and magic, kind of, to me, that's what kind of... I'm not big into the, you know... I mean, I've seen the shit. But I don't believe in, like, Ouija boards and fucking magic, or, you know, it's not going to be like that. There's a scientific explanation for paranormal stuff. It's just a science that we don't understand yet.
Yeah, so Bill shows up and he tells Edwin, he's like, the whole thing, he's like, I've been in this house like lots of times. And he's like, there's a lot of spirits in this house, but the main one is this woman named Maggie. And Maggie was apparently Sylvester Pierce's nanny. Like, that was the guy that had the house built. And so she's apparently, like, protecting the house. And he's like, she's kind of like the protective spirit and keeping all the other ghosts from, like, acting up. You know what I mean? And he says, did you ever consider, like, before you bought, or before the previous owner bought it, I guess was what he was saying. The house was empty for 20 years. And he's like, didn't you think it was weird that the house was empty for 20 years and there was no vandalism? And he's like, that's because Maggie, the ghost, was protecting it, like keeping people from... So, I don't know, she would fuck people up if they came in there with like a can of spray paint or whatever.
I'm of this is the thing. See, I'm of the thinking that ghosts are rare. I'm not into this portal thing where there's 10 ghosts living there because it's a portal. You know what I mean? One of them's I just find that statistically unlikely. I've seen poltergeist and I've been in a bad house before. Had near-death experiences and out-of-body experience. If there is a ghost, and I've never seen a ghost, in the classic description of a ghost, you know, apparitions and shit, I would think that they would be very rare. And the chances there being more than one in one area, nah. If you thought there was more than one, I'd be more apt to believe what The Exorcist said out of the movie The Exorcist, that there's just one demon. It's pretending to be all these other, but there's just one. You know, that's be more likely.
Yeah.
If there's a bunch of ghosts, there's more likely it's just one ghost, pretending to be a bunch of them.
Because what else are you gonna do when you're a ghost? It's probably really boring.
Yeah.
But yeah. So supposedly this ghost Maggie has like been protecting this house all this time. Now, Bill said that there were a couple of kind of like more questionable or like nasty kind of spirits in the house as well.
Ben says the ghosts are time sharing in the damn house. yeah. You want some more ice in that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a sublet.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But he said that there's a kid ghost in there who was abused as a child, like when he was alive. And he also thinks that whoever his abuser was is also still in the house as a ghost. And also he said there's kind of like a nasty ghost in the basement and like another nasty one on the second floor. Now, even after Bill tells Edwin and Lillian all of this, they still want to stay in the house because, you know, this is kind of like their dream house or whatever. So after 10 months, they decide what they're going to do is they're going to have, like, they're essentially going to hold, like, an open house for paranormal investigators, like, to come in there and see if they can get somebody that'll help them out. So this one investigator, whose name is John Brightman, he's the one that coordinates everybody coming there. And he, like, has a specific rule: nobody bring Ouija boards. Like, I guess he puts it on the flyer or on the invitation or something like that. He's always like, nobody bring Ouija boards, goddammit. But you know how, like, nobody listens. So a bunch of different paranormal teams come, and they all set up in different rooms and, like, try with their equipment or whatever. And they're trying to kind of get evidence or what have you. However, you always just knew, it's always the goths, like I said. Blame the goths.
Oh,
You
yeah,
gotta
they're
come-
always doing shit, sacrificing cats and Ouija boards. And
Right,
shit.
we're the worst.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I would never.
Turning the fan on.
Oh, okay. The show's biggest fan.
Yeah,
But,
big fan right there.
Sorry, that was terrible. But yes.
Cheesy as shit.
Anyways, I stole that joke from MST. So, because that's actually what I was thinking of. But, so they all set up in different rooms, but one goddamn satanic couple sneaks in a paper Ouija board. I guess they just kind of folded it up and they were like, tee, like put it in their fucking jeans pockets or whatever, or the pocket of their cloak or whatever.
They were skinny jeans too.
Well, yeah, the Satanists always wear skinny jeans.
Satanists wear skinny jeans and little fucking all stars.
And they go down to the basement with their little paper Ouija board, and they're all just down there chanting and blah blah blah, Satanist, yada yada, whatever.
Yeah.
So
my father plays dominoes better than your father plays dominoes.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
I always wondered.
My padre plays dominoes better than your padre plays dominoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they don't really bring. I don't know. I guess they kind of imply that these little miscreants with the paper Ouija board, that they're the ones that kind of caused the trouble that went on later with Lillian and stuff, but they don't really, like, mention them again, really. So the guy that coordinated it, he has one of those, what's that thing called? An ovulus? That bullshit paranormal
It sounds
thing.
like something that goes up in somebody's cooch.
It does, actually. It does sound like
Get your hands off my ovulus.
Do you know how much that costs?
Get them to be dried off.
Get the lube.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm pretty sure you said ovulus, right?
I think it was. Yeah. You sit there. We talking about the thing on the Ouija board?
No. That's
the planchette.
That's the planchette.
That's the planchette.
The ovulus thing is the bullshit thing that like spits out words that just like scrolls through it scrolls through radio frequencies.
Yeah.
And you ask it questions and then it just like spits out words.
Spits out
randomly.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Zach says ovulus side effects may include
Exactly.
anal leakage. But
yeah.
I mean, you know.
We were watching YouTube the other day, and a commercial came on for some kind of medicine, and everything it said, we were like, what? You know, and it may also cause your head to explode. It may also cause your intestines to come out. You know, I mean, we were like, what the fuck? I was like, I ain't taking that shit.
It was a long list.
It's like a long list of bad shit could happen to you if you take this medicine. And I'm like, I ain't taking that shit. What made them think they would even sell?
Well, that's the thing. I
those disclaimers.
think the medication was for bipolar disorder, right?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, thanks. I'll keep the bipolar.
Yeah.
Like, after that list of I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. No, thank you.
It wasn't worth it.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, if your bipolar is really bad, maybe it is, but I kind of feel like for most people, I'll be like, no, thanks. I'll just keep it.
Wouldn't take most of the medicines that people they're trying to sell. They're just trying to sell you patented medicine, just like it was back in the day. Snake oil. They're going to have fucking rattlesnake heads in a jar. It's that same shit. When they probably had a cure for that a long time ago, but they don't want to talk about it because they don't own the patent on it.
I mean, I try not to take anything unless I absolutely have to. You know what I mean? But I know not everybody is as lucky as I am, but I have a really good immune system. Yeah. That was like, I just won the genetic lottery there.
Hormone therapy fucking solves a lot of problems. Diabetes and fucking high blood pressure. Good.
But yeah, so the ovulus thing that just goes through and goes rah, 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 and then like you just interpret. Listen, it answered my question. Yeah, no, it did. So anyways, what this guy decides to do, this part was kind of funny to me too. He decides he's going to go into, I guess, the master bedroom where that dude burned to death, and he's going to try and provoke the ghost into like saying something, right? So he's like, hey, Eno, like, because I think that was his name. And he's like, I heard that you don't like people sitting on your bed. Well, I'm going to sit on your bed, motherfucker. You know, he didn't say that. But, like, he's just, like, sitting on there. Maybe I'll even spend the night. How do you feel about that? Like, I even wrote about I wrote my notes. How you like that, ghosty? That's what I wrote. That he didn't say that, though. So, I guess Eno did not like it. Not one bit. Because Brightman gets his... Like, he gets the trademark, like, 3 scratches, like, on his side, right? He's like, ow, it got me, you know what I mean? And then they lift up, and he's got, like, 3 scratches on there. So I was like, ha, ghost got you. And then the ghost said some scary shit, like, over the ovulus, which now I'm never going to be able to think of that the same way again.
Sounds sexual as fuck.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like ovulation.
Yeah.
Why did they call it an ovulus?
They're illiterate. They're fucking uneducated.
I guess.
Just sounded cool.
Yeah,
Dude had pussy on his mind, and he called it that. It's the ovulus. Yeah. Pass me the joint. Yeah. Ovulus, that's what it is. Yeah.
It's ovulating right now. Well, let's get it pregnant.
It's obvious. It's obvious that it's an ovulus. Yeah, it'll make all kinds of money.
That's probably exactly how that went down. I'm sure it was.
They got some chick with him. She goes, that sounds great. You pass the joint.
Don't bogart that, man.
Yeah,
Black Frog said, is the ghost first name Brian? See, that was the first thing I thought of. Actually, his first name is Eno. He's like, or Eno or Ino. I can't remember what they said. I think they said Eno. But yeah, I was thinking like Brian Eno. Okay. But yeah, so the ghost like scratches his side and then says some scary shit like over the ovulus. Apparently, he said... What did they say? He said, squeeze every throat in this house?
Yeah, I'm going to squeeze every throat in this house.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Like, and they said it was, like, pretty clear, like, an all growly, like a demon, like,
yeah.
You know, like
a
Danzig voice.
Yeah, I'm going to squeeze every throat in this house. That was me back when I was doing Mississippi Delta Blues. Back on up, because I'm a ghost man. Got that ghost hand round your throat. High testosterone.
The vibe almost came out my nose.
High testosterone brothers back in Mississippi in the 1930s.
Dude, you should make a whole record like that.
Just singing
like a Delta Blues record, but it's all
yeah.
about paranormal shit. That would be awesome. I don't think anybody's ever done that, have they?
Got that ghost up in my booty.
You can come up with all kind of ways.
You can smell it from miles away. It's just evil spirits.
Oh my god. And then we'll
inside joke. When I fart, I'm going, man, evil spirits and shit.
Well, yeah, we make all kind of joke about that. Like we're sitting on the bed watching a movie or something, and all of a sudden he doesn't even say anything, and all of a sudden it'll just like, and I'm like, Jesus Christ!
It's like chemical warfare.
And then he's like, eh. And I'm just like, you motherfucker.
You never can't tell when it's gonna be bad.
And then I have to like run in the other room and get and then I hold
she'll come and run in the room with Febreze and shit.
And then I'm like,
and I'm like, yeah, come on, man. Spray it. I feel like hammer spray me.
It's like an absolution. With the Febreze.
We are in a show. Why are we talking about this?
We're talking about evil spirits.
Yeah, it's true.
That come out your ass.
Yeah. Where else would they come out of?
Well, pretty much, yeah. I think it would be really funny for you to do a record like that, like
Go in there and have a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
And they look in there and it looks like a damn burned up charcoal grill. Some evil spirits have been through here.
Yeah.
It's like the bowels of hell, literally.
I could see that happening.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot too that the ghost also punched this dude in the face because it gave him a black eye.
Yeah, I remember that.
Might be the only documented case of like a ghost just like popping somebody right in the fucking, giving him a shiner.
Gotta say I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I'm not really buying a ghost giving you a black eye. I mean, that's a little far-fetched. How would a ghost even hit you with a fist? Ghosts don't have fists.
Well, yeah, they don't have fists or hands, but you know, the fucking poltergeist can move an object. It wasn't what he reported. I'm not sure that witness was credible. Although, you know what I mean, fucking, I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's true.
This has to be a kind of situation where you'd had to be there. I mean, there's a lot of shit that I saw up in Mammoth that if you weren't there, you wouldn't believe it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you just
I would tell the story to Jenny. She's literally
going
going like, "Come on!" And then she gets on the phone with my aunt and uncle. They'll tell us, "No, this is what happened." And yeah, same
well, I
thing.
specifically wanted to talk to them without you there, so I could see if they said the same thing that you said. Because
they remembered more than I did.
Because they don't live here; they lived in California.
And they remembered more about it than I did. They were adults. I was only like 13.
Blockfrog says Ghost Punch. That sounds like it'd be a cool band name.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought there's something just inherently funny to me about a ghost just like socking you in the face. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it Halloween drink mixture, Ghost Punch.
Ghost Punch.
Ghost Punch.
It's like Ecto Cooler, like that thing they used to they sold in the 80s.
Yeah. Ghost Punch. Wild Berry. Ghost Berry.
Well, they already made Boo Berry.
Yeah.
Which was gross as shit.
I liked all the fucking the fucking monster cereals.
Count Chocula was okay.
I liked the Frankenberry.
I just liked the boxes. I didn't like the actual cereal. You know what I mean?
I liked them all. I liked fucking Cookie Crisp too.
Oh, Cookie Crisp was the shit.
Cookie Jarvis and all that shit.
Did they even make Cookie Crisp anymore?
Probably not.
Man, that was good
shit. I even liked a crazy one called Freaky Tree.
See, I don't remember that.
You remember Freaky Tree? Freaky Tree was fucking trip.
That doesn't sound like a food.
It was fucking cereal. Yeah. Kugel. I told you about Kugel.
Yeah. That Kugel also does not sound like food.
Kugel was fake peanut butter, flavored. Yeah, I remember that.
Kugel sounds like some exercises you do to tighten your cooch muscles.
Yeah. Jen does those. Fucking say through the roof, bro. Like, whoa. Hold on, hold on to something.
It really works.
I'm getting pulled in.
It's that gravitational pull. That gravitational pull. Yeah. Oh my god, we should do a stream like that one night. We'll do that. Yeah. That'll be the theme.
Yeah.
Gravitational pull.
We just fake it for like an hour. We just get the angle right, and I'm back there going, whoa. And I'm holding like a wind blowing me in, you know.
Oh my god, I wish I was good enough at special effects that we could make a video that actually that I could like actually suck you in there entirely.
And
that would be awesome.
We'll just do it in public, and we'll just get tips.
That'd be fucking hysterical.
Yeah. We gotta just do a comedy stream like that.
Well, I mean, it's us, so it's gonna end up being comedy no matter what we do. You know what I mean? We can't help ourselves. Because we're just like fucking smart asses and we can't take a single thing seriously. You know what I mean? But that's okay. So after the dude gets punched by the ghost, you know, he's like, okay, everybody clear out. This like shit's not funny anymore, right? So now after this, Edwin's like, okay, well, we're not doing like paranormal open house anymore. This is like some bullshit. It's like apparently all the ghosts got provoked. We had Satanists with paper Ouija boards. There was like a whole situation. So Edwin is like, so now I'm still going to let paranormal investigators in the house, but they have to be like friends of mine like beforehand. And then like another one comes in who's a friend of his named Bob. And I'm like, how many motherfucking paranormal investigators does this dude know? Jesus, it was a lot. You know, because he was like another one. And I was like, oh, this is a different guy. All right.
He must have hung out in a circle.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, because I was like, no normal person knows that many paranormal investigators. You know
hung
what I'm
out
saying?
in the same bar.
The paranormal investigator bar. Yeah, that's where they have the cop bar, and then they have then they have the ghost hunter bar.
Yeah.
The ghost hunter bar. They all go there to talk shop. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Bob, the paranormal investigator, and Edwin are down in the basement, and there's this kind of kiln oven thing down there, which I guess it's not like all intact or everything, but it's just like brick. And they find the paper Ouija board, and they're like, aha! Like, this is maybe what caused it. I don't know. That was kind of like the implication anyway. And then they're going back up. What? What are you laughing at?
Don't worry about it. I'll talk about it later. Oh, okay. You want to know what I was thinking of?
Yeah.
It just dawned on me. We're talking about this. Y'all are going to trip. This only happens to fucking me in my life.
Oh, shit. This should be good.
On StreamMate, you have the ability to sell videos on there. We already got a bunch of them approved. They're up there. I've arranged Jen's first girl scene.
Oh, that's what you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
With my ex-girlfriend.
Well, she's my friend too.
Yeah. They like each other.
I love her.
But it's funny how that's my girlfriend and my ex. And look, I'm not rich. I don't have a shit ton of money. It's just that they have probably dudes out there that would pay millions of dollars for that experience. It was just.
They probably would.
They do shit too. They kind of create content. Her and her husband.
Her husband, yeah.
And he's a friend of ours too. I introduced them.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah,
They've actually been together.
Yeah.
Slightly longer than us.
Yeah, and they go down to secrets and shit. They're like open swinger couple now, basically. But no, she's like, I fucking talked to him, and I was showing him some of the material we make. Oh yeah, it's good. And he's showing me shit that fucking they're making, and I'm like, dude, we got to get fucking Jen and Aleta together. Aleta's cute. Okay, you guys, I've shown pictures of her before. So we've got to get them together, man. It's fucking be great. Girl scene to be. He's like, oh yeah, man. And then we can trade them up. And I was like, no. No. He's like that.
Yeah.
He's like that.
Well, he's always
just what you talking about? This is 2023.
Press his advantage.
This is 2023. Yeah, he's trying to get at you. But anyway, I just think that shit's fucking funny.
That's what you were thinking of?
Yeah, well, no, it just dawned on me. I was like, oh shit. I just realized that I fucking hooked this shit up between my girlfriend and my ex.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Okay.
And you didn't tell me ahead of time that you were doing that.
Well, no, it's just up. It's just
me,
open. I wanted to see if they would say yeah, and they say yeah.
Because, like I said,
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to stream. Like, she doesn't want to live stream.
No, at first she thought she wanted you guys to stream together live. She doesn't like live. She did Chatterbait for a while.
Yeah.
She hated it.
Well, I've heard Chatterbait is kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean,
if like what she saw in the fucking,
right, yeah, I've heard like people
section.
are kind of assholes.
Yeah,
well, StreamMate is better because it's a little bit
only
better
paying customers,
curated, and there's only like paying customers. But yeah, I've heard Chatterbait is like some people like that, but like having thousands of people like watching you.
Yeah.
And like some of them are abusive and shit like that. But that's
well, they're fucking 2,000 people watching and only 4 are paying.
Right. So it's like that's not really my thing.
Nah.
Not really my thing. I would rather like a smaller crowd.
Yeah.
That was more.
Yeah, you might as well throw yourself in the goddamn fucking Roman arena.
Yeah, no thanks.
Which they did that evidently.
Yeah.
Live sex in the middle of the Roman arena. Imagine that. It's before the games.
Yeah.
That's
and they probably everybody was like throwing shit at you and everything like that. Hey, see if you can hit him in the penis.
Some historians say it was all different events and shit. Fucking acrobats and fucking then live sex and then women with animals and fucking it was weird.
Yeah, that sounds about
the Romans
right.
were fucking and the Romans weren't above children too. I mean they had these children.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah. So where was I? So they find this paper Ouija board and think, oh, maybe this is the cause of the trouble right here, this piece of paper with Ouija board shit on it. And so while they're going back up from the basement, Edwin said that he felt like a finger like down the back of his neck, like really distinctly. Now, also, Bob hangs out on the second floor, and there's like a door comes open by itself, and then he sees pretty much a full body apparition of a woman, and we kind of laughed because Because Tom's like, and he sees the ghost of Andy because it looks like our friend Andy.
Yeah, our friend Andy.
Yeah, and I laughed because I knew immediately.
Now, Zach says he used like a cereal that looked like a little, what did it say? It looked like a little waffle. A little soup waffle. You talking about that? What was that? What was the name of that one? Something or the honeycomb? Gee, honeycomb kind of looked like a waffle.
Well, they had one called Waffle-O's as well.
Waffle-O's, and then there was Cinnamon Toast Crunch that kind of looked a little bit like a waffle.
That looks more like just a little square.
Yeah, square, but it had little dots in it like a waffle.
Speaking of which, this past weekend for Tom's birthday, we went to Ichiban buffet, and then we went to Books A Million, and we went to the coffee shop over there.
Yeah.
And the barista, she made Cinnamon Toast Crunch cold brew.
Yeah.
Man, that shit was delicious.
We're gonna go there tomorrow.
Is it open?
I don't
It's
know.
a holiday.
It's a holiday. Because I wouldn't mind going to fucking Ichiban and then getting another one of those.
Well, we'll check before we drive all the way over there because
I want some more shrimp.
Because the thing is, like, it's 4th of July, but like not everything closes on the 4th of July. You know what I mean? So we'll check before we go over there. Waffle crisp, haven't had that in ages. Yeah, I used to really like one called Waffle-O's, which was like they looked like little square waffles, and that shit was delicious. It tastes like maple syrup, but they haven't made that for years. So Bob sees this apparition and freaks the fuck out. And basically, like, it looks like he just kind of like spaces out, like he's not talking, and they're like, hello, Earth to Bob, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And he basically said afterward that he said he totally froze and he couldn't move. And Edwin had to like help him down the stairs, and he doesn't actually come out of it until Lillian kind of like touches him. And, you know, is like, hey, are you in there or whatever? And he's just like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm okay. But he's like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of this house. That was fucking freaky. So later on, Lillian, who was alone in the house and also saw the ghost that looked like our friend Andy as well. And I guess what happened here was it looked like it kind of like pulled her back forcefully or like went inside her body or something like that. I don't know if they were trying to imply that it possessed her or whatever. And so she was home by herself then, but like then Edwin comes home and sees her lying on the couch, and she's acting kind of weird and like lethargic, and he's like, well, why don't you come up to bed? And she's like, no, I'm going to stay down here. So she just like stays on the couch. And then he's like, after that, she started getting really withdrawn, really unstable, really depressed, like tired all the time, shit like that. Like she just wasn't the same as she was. Now, Edwin also sees, like, he's walking down the stairs and he sees a girl, like, in a Victorian dress or, like, a woman standing in the window, and she, like, turns around and looks at him, and he said that it felt, like, really sad. Like, he could feel, like, all this grief and stuff like that, like, coming off of her, like, this girl that he saw. So at this point, he decides he's going to call an exorcist. So this is so many, like, paranormal investigators and stuff like that trooping through this house. But he calls it an exorcist. And then, you know, the exorcist comes in and does his little magic tricks or whatever and puts, like, little crosses in the window and shit like that. And then he's like, okay, your house is clean. My job here is done, yada, yada. And then he leaves. Now, a few days go by and nothing happens. So they think, oh, well, the exorcist actually did do the job and everything's fine. But then, a couple days later, Edwin goes down to the basement and finds Lillian down there digging in the dirt, like where the kiln brick oven thing is, and she is just like flipping out, and she's just like screaming, is like, let me finish, leave me alone. And she's like fucking wigging the fucking, he's like, what the hell is your fucking problem?
Zach confirmed that it was Waffle Crisp.
Oh, okay.
Waffle Crisp.
Yeah.
Just updating people who don't have the live chat. Because a lot of people that listen to the show recorded know the regulars in the live chat by name. Y'all are famous, you know.
Yeah.
They can't make the live show, but they know they remember us talking about the Zach, you know. They know,
well, that's why, I mean,
Zach
I usually do try to, like, read people's comments if they, you know what I mean? I can't read everybody's because, you know, it would just be that, but I do try to, because I do keep that in mind that, like, maybe if you're just listening to
Zach
it,
and Gramthars and the other ones, they everybody, the people who listen to the show recorded fucking know your names.
Yeah. So she's digging around in here in the dirt, and she comes up with a news clipping. And in this news clipping, which was apparently buried in the dirt or whatever, I guess it's talking about a bunch of kids that drowned on the property. Now, they didn't really drill down into this, which I'm kind of like, well, wait a minute. They drowned on the property? Like, in the bathtub? Or where? Like, it didn't look like it was on a lake or anything. They didn't mention that. And so I don't know if these kids drowned before the house was built in 1875 or...
Was there a flood?
Yeah,
hurricane?
Or something. I don't really
Wouldn't
know.
be a hurricane in Massachusetts.
No, unless it was like really, really weird, anomalous. But yeah, so, and they didn't really go back to that either. So I was like, that seems like a weird thing to like just bring up and not bring up again. But okay. So that was what it was in the news clipping. So then later on they show them like sleeping, and then there's like the ghost coming at them or whatever. Although I don't know if they saw that or not. A few nights later, Bill shows up again without calling.
Yeah,
I know, and I was like, God damn, Bill, don't you know how to use a phone? He just keeps like turning up on their doorstep. Hi, sorry, I'm just kind of like, and I think it was like kind of late. I don't know how late it was, but he did say like in the reenactment, he's like, I'm sorry it's so late, but he's like, I felt something bad, like I had to come over and tell you because I think that Lillian is in trouble or is in danger, and I had to come over and tell you like right away. And he said when he came in the house, he thinks what happened is that, they didn't say this outright, but they think that like the exorcist that came, that cleansed the house, actually cleansed Maggie, who was the guardian spirit. And so now all of the bad ones can just like run roughshod over the whole entire house because Maggie went into the light or whatever the hell. And so she's not around to like keep them all in check anymore. That's kind of like the implication. So Bill said now that Maggie is gone, he's like, I used to actually really like this house and like coming to this house when his friend used to own it. But he's like, now that Maggie is gone, he's like, I was scared of the house like for the first time ever because she's not there anymore, like keeping track of shit. You know what I mean? And then he goes in to see Lillian, and she's like sitting there in the chair. And at this point, Tom, being Tom, says about the actress, he's like, Lillian, you have really, really nice implants. You know what I mean? Because he was doing like Bill like talking to her and stuff like that. How are you doing, Lillian? You have really nice implants. She did actually. The actress had really nice implants. They were very nicely shaped. But but so yeah. So Lillian's sitting there in the chair, and I guess they show like her face changes, like the ghost's face is like imposed over her face or whatever. And then like they see, or Bill says that he saw, like the ghost of the woman that Bob had seen earlier, like standing behind her, like with her hand on her shoulder. So the implication being that Lillian is either kind of possessed or being controlled by this ghost or whatever. So Lillian starts getting all fucking angry, and her and Edwin are like fighting all the time, and she's, you know, like I said, she's just not the way she used to be. And then Bill says, you know, the couple that he was friends with that lived there prior to Edwin and Lillian moving in, it's like they lived here for 2 years, and it's like they broke up at the end because a similar kind of thing happened to her. Like I guess somebody like kind of possessed, one of the ghosts possessed her, and she started acting all crazy, and they broke up or whatever. So Bill basically says, you need to find something to believe in to protect yourself, because Maggie isn't here to protect you anymore, or this house is just going to tear you down. You're going to end up like breaking up and whatever. So at this point, Edwin and Lillian are talking, and they're like, well, should we leave? You know, maybe we should leave, even though they really love this house and they didn't really want to leave. So they go to bed, and then they hear somebody coming up the stairs, like footsteps coming up the stairs. And then they show, this actually kind of made me laugh a lot because they show the same ghost again. But I guess like the way they did the special effect, she had, you know, they had the actress like in the ghost makeup, and she's all like, you know, kind of transparent. And so she's kind of standing like that, but she's just like, you know what I mean? Like kind of hovering over it. It's just like something about the movement just like really made me laugh. But she's just like, whoa, here I come. You know what I mean? So she's coming like over the bed. And then she starts attacking Lillian, like kind of shaking her and smacking her around and shit like that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So at that point where it starts attacking Lillian, Edwin is like, okay, fuck this place, we're out of here. Edwin's like, I couldn't really take seeing Lillian suffering like that and being abused like that. So she's like, we're getting the fuck out of here. So Bill was actually happy that they ended up leaving the house because he was, like I said, afraid that they were in danger. And as I mentioned before, Lillian actually, at least when this show aired, Edwin and Lillian were still together, but he said Lillian didn't want to be on the show because she was still like scared of what happened there and she didn't really want to talk about it. And basically they said, I think they said the ghost was, like the ghost that was causing all the trouble was a former servant, like a servant that had worked there, whose name was Abigail. I don't know if that's true or not. But so they basically stayed with Lillian's sister and then eventually like moved somewhere else. Now, like I said, 3 years after they left the house, they were living someplace else, but they said they couldn't bear to part with the house, so they kept it. But as I said earlier, as far as I know, I don't know how long they owned it after that, but it has been sold. It was sold and it was restored, and as far as I know, it's for sale again. I don't think anyone's bought it this time, but it hasn't been for sale that long, like just for a couple of months. But I think that the people that owned it after them, or maybe it was them, I wasn't real clear on that, but they would let, like I said, they would, I guess for a fee, I would imagine, that you could like spend the night there and do paranormal investigations and stuff like that, because it is listed as one of the most haunted houses in New England. You know what I mean? So a lot of groups do want to go in there, so I guess they do let them come in there. Like I said, probably make them pay, I would imagine, because you can't let all those people like troop through your house for free. That's all I'm saying. So yeah. Faulty bathtub. They drowned a whole passel of kids, right? It's like, what? Yeah. I didn't really get, I was like, that's a big thing to bring up and then not elaborate on. Like, oh, all these kids drowned on the property. I'm like, okay. Like, drowned in what? Drowned in molasses? Drowned in a puddle? Where? What? I don't know. But they didn't say. And I don't know if there's, I mean, I'm sure there's a way you could check because the house is famous. It's, and I even have the address right here. It's 4 West Broadway in Gardner, Massachusetts. And like I said, it's been restored. It's still there. So I'm sure you could look up how many people have died there. Now, I did, I don't know if this is true, but they said that for a time, because like I said, it was a boarding house. I've heard that it was also a brothel for a short time, but I don't know if that's the case. They do say a lot of that. They say that a lot of times about houses of this era. It's like, oh, for a while it was a brothel. I'm like, every house wasn't a brothel, okay? But I know that that is like something that they say a lot.
It's a trope.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's true or not, because the whole thing about that was that one site I read said that, oh, like a prostitute that works there had been strangled there, like, and had died there. Because like I said, I have heard that there were 7 confirmed deaths in this house, including the dude that burned to death. But I don't know if that's true or not. But like I said, if you know the address, I'm sure it'd like be pretty easy to check if you had like old newspaper records and shit like that. Black Frog said Jenny just doxed the ghosts. I did. Sorry, ghosts. Don't come and punch me. I'm gonna feel really dumb if like a ghost shows up tonight and punches me right in my eye.
I'll be next to you though. I'll fucking take care of his ass.
You gonna punch him back?
Yeah, got holy water and everything.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get holy water from?
I pulled it out of my ass. I have holy water.
But I thought your ass was the bowels of hell, though.
Is that what it is? What are you saying? What are you talking about?
Well, you were saying earlier that your ass was the bowels of hell.
Oh yeah, that too. There's holy water in there.
Oh, so it's like a spigot. It's like
It's
like good and evil.
It's whatever I want it to be.
It's like hot and cold.
Yeah.
With the faucet.
Jenny's reading too much into it.
That's kind of how I do.
Yeah.
You know how I do.
Yeah, foils humor. Just let the shit go.
No. That's the thing.
Okay.
Well, that's what's funny to me. is I like to take these kind of situations and bring them up to their like maximum absurdity. You know what I mean? That's like fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Ben says those breakfast cereals are so unhealthy, just pure sugar. Yeah, but you know, they're good. Honestly, like I said, I was into Cookie Crisp, I was into Captain Crunch. I would still eat it now if you had it, but it's like I don't eat breakfast anymore.
Listen to Zach.
Zach says Tom should get a tramp stamp with an arrow pointing between his crack. Abandon hope all units are here.
That would be like an anti-trap stamp. All the gays would be running from me, not running to me. See, so it wouldn't be a tramp
well,
stamp.
what? Okay,
That'd be
so
like a warning.
Well, what would you tattoo on there, like to entice people into it?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
I'm not gay. Ask Zach.
I know, but I'm just wondering. I thought you'd be able to. I thought
shit
you'd be able to come up with something.
Zach can come up with some good shit, man.
I thought you'd be able to come
Yeah,
up with
no.
something.
I can't gay eyes that much. I can't.
You can't gay eyes.
Gay eyes. I can't that too much. can't see it through the gate viewport all the time.
He's trying to gay imagine.
That's a good one, gay imagine. My gay imagination is not as good as Zach's.
Gay imagination.
Zach can come up with some fucking great shit.
Well, you know.
Be like free. The arrow would be pointing down and say like free lunch or some shit like that.
Oh, I just thought like those old Looney Tunes cartoons where they always put the sign that says free beer.
Free, yeah.
Zach said, mine would be something like put it where the sun don't shine. Okay. If I was the bottom, that is.
Okay. Zach, awesome. You're bottom as shit, bro.
Oh my god.
Never be a top around me.
Everything.
If I fucking catch you standing up in the men's room again, I'm gonna fucking beat the piss out you too. You sit the fuck down when I go in there. I'm gonna make a whole video about that. Jen's gonna fucking play you. She's gonna have a POV camera. We're gonna go down to somebody's bed in malls or something, and he's gonna play you, Zach. I'm gonna walk in and I'll go, Zach, what the fuck? Fucking get the fuck away from that urinal. Fucking stand. Sit down. When you see me walking this bitch, you sit the fuck down. I don't see you standing up, pissing around me. The pure male dominance.
That's gonna be your whole angle.
Yeah, just male dominance.
Yeah, you're just gonna. Everyone else is gonna be like.
Yeah.
Subservient.
Yeah. Everyone takes the female position. Sit the fuck down.
That's right. Ben says, I have a theory that Roman gladiator contests were like pro wrestling. Most of it was theatrical bullshit. Doesn't make economic sense otherwise.
There's something to be said from that.
Yeah.
What had happened was, and this is according to Roman history, I don't remember if it was Suetonius that said it or whatever, but they started making, Roman emperors started making mandates that dudes had to die in these matches, that there had to be a certain amount of death matches.
It's like, come on, it's no fun otherwise.
Because gladiators weren't being killed.
Right.
What had happened was the gladiators had become so valuable, such valuable commodities, that, and they had such huge fan bases, and there must have been secondary markets for merch and all kinds of shit going on, all right, that they didn't want these dudes to die. If a dude lost, they would tend to be spared, you know, because you weren't really supposed to fight to the death. That wasn't really part of the fucking deal in the gladiator fight. You basically had a submission win, and then you'd go to the fucking either the emperor or the MC of the fucking event, and or the crowd. You know, should I kill him or should I let him live? And if he was a coward, you were supposed to kill him. If he was brave, you let him live. Well, these guys had huge fan bases. Nobody's gonna say the dude was a coward. He had all these fucking victories and shit. Well, there were certain emperors that were like, no, we're gonna have to make rules. Some guys have to die in this, or it's not to the death. I don't know how popular that
it's
decree
like false
was.
advertising.
Right.
Because people would like buy tickets. People would buy tickets and they're like, I thought someone was gonna die. This is bullshit.
Right. Well, people did die.
Yeah.
But not the main
right
celebrity gladiators, because the after the fucking live sex and all that shit and the jugglers and the acrobats, you then had animal hunts, which they'd release lions and shit and kill them, which evidently weren't real popular with the crowds, because a lot of the shit, especially towards the end, it looked real pitiful. The lions looked like in pitiful health, and they really didn't want to fight. And then they were doing crazy shit like trying to kill ostriches and shit, you know, and killing elephants, and people started to turn against that. And then they would have like prisoner executions. They had that. And then they would have battle reenactments. And the battle reenactments usually were prisoners and the Roman army fighting prisoners, dressed up as like an enemy and doing a reenactment.
Yeah, that's what Ben just said.
Right. And that was part of your duty as a Roman soldier to be in the arena and fucking do battle reenactments, kill prisoners and shit. And then it was the games, the gladiators. And they had different ranks, you know. The ones that weren't that famous, they got killed a lot. It was just the famous ones, the real big names. They stopped killing those because they were just worth too much, and they were too popular, and the crowds would vote for their lives. You know what I mean? Because think about it. If you had Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson fighting, and fucking Mike Tyson loses, are they really gonna fucking say, yeah, you got to kill Mike Tyson? No, because they both had fans, you know. So that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah. Zach says, I'd always heard the best doms were little old Asian ladies who get you to move shit for them.
Yeah, move shit into their apartment.
Yeah, move that TV over there.
They got a famous
and that
dom.
bookshelf over there.
They got a famous little Asian dom in the Philippines, and she's got a lot of videos. You can find them like on X Hamster and shit like that. And she's fucking hilarious. All right, she's into bondage and shit. Her and her fucking friend, and they just humiliate dudes. But it is kind of funny, you know, what they do to these dudes. Just. And I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
I mean, I have said before
what they would do to those dudes. You know,
my love of those videos of like chicks stepping on dudes' nuts.
Yeah, they would do that kind of stuff and worse. You know, but they would. The dudes volunteered for it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not like they just like pulled some random off the street. So
well, all the videos they have posted, a lot of them is an American guy or a Western guy. He might be he's a Caucasian. He's on there and he's fucking just jacked as shit. He's a fucking muscle guy and they just fuck that dude up. He's on there a lot. They just fuck that dude up. But it is kind of funny. She's got serious mouth game. She could talk some shit, man. And really just, I don't remember her name, but fucking just her shit talking is fucking the best part of those videos.
Now I'm gonna have to see those.
Yeah, if I can find them again.
Yeah, that sounds super fun.
You'd like it.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, she goes to strap-on action and fucks that dude up, and her friends laughing at him and shit. Fucking, nice. He's got fucking, he's a jacked dude, and he's got fucking tattoos on him like slave and shit. And you can't see his face. He's got like a box on his head or a mask. You know, you can't really fucking. He's tied down.
So yeah, I need to see this.
You see his parts of his face. You only. The closest you see to his face, I think he had a little fucking like a mask on.
Yeah.
But it was that same dude over and over again. And he's paying for that now.
Right.
Okay. Oh, maybe that's her boyfriend. I don't know. There's no way of knowing.
I mean, he's clearly into it, so.
There's a lot of videos, so maybe he's not paying. He might live with her.
Right. And that's their
gig. That's their stick. And, you know, it's all in English. And the videos are an advertisement for her Dom service.
Yeah.
In Philippines.
Yeah, I might have to look those up.
Yeah, they got kind of this cute...
Get some pointers.
Cute, overweight Filipino girl who fucking dominates you with her big ass, rubbing that on your face and all kinds of weird shit. Fucking, yeah, it's just funny, you know. Funny.
That is pretty funny. All right, are you ready to wrap it up?
We can wrap it up.
All right, so... I was gonna say, so tomorrow, I don't know if we're gonna be streaming tomorrow because I know it's a holiday and I'm off and everything like that, but we might be doing other stuff, but I'll let you guys know anyway. But if not, Wednesday will be the main show, and I'm kind of excited about this one because this is a topic I've been wanting to do for a long time. We're doing 2 Victorian female murderers.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about Mary Piercy.
All right.
And we're going to talk about the baby farmer, Amelia Dyer, who
her.
I've been wanting to do a show about her for a long time.
Well, that's right. We just mentioned her on another show. We
haven't done a whole show.
That was probably
her.
the most evil woman in history. She's
Yeah.
fucking evil. Although, no, there were a lot of other evil ones. But
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a hard
yeah,
ranking to make, but...
some of those serial killer girlfriends did for wicked shit, too.
Well,
16-year-old girls dig their own graves and then fucking kill them and shit after she had raped them. Her and her fucking boyfriend. That was. We got to do a show on them.
Yeah.
That old big old fat redneck and his girlfriend.
Yeah, because I know we used to do a lot of like killer couple shows,
Yeah.
but we might. Yeah, I don't.
And
think
she got off.
I don't think we've covered them.
She got off. I don't think she did any prison time because she claimed that. Well, I was scared of him.
Right.
It was one of those guys. It was back in the 80s.
Yeah, did we do it? Like, because I know that we did. Because remember, we used to do every Valentine's Day. We always used to do a killer couple show.
Yeah.
And we'd do several of them. We would do like 3 or 4 of them on each show.
Or I think she got off. She virtually got off. She testified against him and
Yeah.
got a light sentence or got off. I don't remember.
But yeah, so that's what Wednesday's show is going to be about. And I'm not, excited about it because I've been wanting to do that show for a long time. So it finally won in the damn poll, and I was very, very happy.
American Military's asking you something.
Are you ever going to review the folk horror film Eyes of Fire, 1983? I thought I did. I'd have to go back and look. I thought I did a Flickers of Fear about it because I remember watching it not too long ago because Shudder, remember, had that 3.5 hour like folk horror documentary, and they mentioned Eyes of Fire on there, and they had that on there too, and I watched it, and I thought I did a video of it, and if I didn't, then I must be crazy because I'm pretty sure I did one, but
I don't remember it.
No, I think I just watched it.
Oh, just okay. That's something she did solo.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure I did it. Ben said she claimed she actually adopted. He's talking about Amelia Dyer. Okay. Claimed she actually adopted out all the babies, didn't she? Yeah, I think at first she kind of did, but then like after a while she's like, you know what? It'd be much easier to just like fucking strangle them.
Yeah, she threw them bitches into the Thames.
Yeah,
she threw those babies into the Thames.
Yeah, and they are not actually sure how many she killed.
100 of them probably.
They think it was between 200 and 400.
Oh, okay, right.
But they're not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Like I think she just got convicted of 6 that they knew of, you know what I mean? Right. But they speculate just because of, how many people were missing and shit like that it might have been as many as 400. So yeah, not great, but yeah, that's good. What the show's gonna be about Wednesday night. So if you are in the United States, please have a good 4th of July tomorrow. Please don't blow off any of your appendages with fireworks.
Yeah.
That would be bad. Don't set anything on fire. Don't set your house on fire, anything like that. So yeah, we'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Good night.